What's up, guys? I'm here today to give a review of a track that was done on our last night urban tracking workshop. This track with handler Michelle and her dog Finn was for the level 1 certification standard, which level 1 in urban tracking workshops is 250 meters long, 10 minutes aged, at least one corner and at least one road crossing, and you have that to do in 8 minutes. So I know it sounds fairly straightforward, but the time, 8 minutes, isn't that long. It's long enough if your dog doesn't have any major mishaps or doesn't muck around and stays on the track, but you'll notice can quickly come around if you don't have your dog on point. If there's a lot of perving, there's a lot of undesirable behaviors on the track, you'll be then pushed for time. So yes, it's a shorter distance. Yes, it's quite a young age of track as well, but that time limit of 8 minutes to get done really forces you to have a dog that is, one, able to focus on task, and two, not get distracted with the environmental factors that are around, being at other sights and smells that it will inevitably come across. So anyway, back to this track. Finn here is the first time I've seen this dog work, and I think Border Collies make great tracking dogs. I've trained a few of them, and if you go back to my previous video, what type of tracking system is best, I'll link it in the description. I talk about different quadrants of types of dogs. So for example, this Border Collie is high drive, high focus, and I talk about how having a dog in that quadrant is the bee's knees when it comes to tracking behaviors, because not only do you have a dog that wants to do that task, it also has the ability to highly focus on that specific task that we're doing of trying to find this track layout, and doesn't really get caught up in the other environmental distractions. And Border Collies, a typical working breed, love to work. So if you give it a task, they will do that to their best ability. Now, we're coming up the track here, and we've done our road crossing. Also, forgot to mention, during these tracks, I have no idea where this track goes, so I'm just following the dog team here and just documenting where they go with a tracking app, so we can do an overlay of the track between the track layer and the tracking team. So we're coming up here, we've gone off the road into some sort of service area through a garden bed, and we're just trying to figure out this problem. It's important when we are on a track to keep an open mind as to where the track could go, but you need to be able to balance this out with having to understand that if I've checked an area more than once, then that area most likely doesn't have a track. Okay, so sometimes we can get caught up in a loop where we just go over the same areas again and again and hope for something different to happen. What the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. But we've got to be able to give our dog a chance to figure out the problem on its own before we can come in and assist it as its handler. It's called a dog team for a reason, and I think people in the past have been sold the Kool-Aid in just leaving their dog to their own devices 100% of the time. I think what the risk of doing that is that you just never move apart from an area. The dog might need you, and quite often does need you, to assist it in putting it in new areas if it can't figure out that problem on its own. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the skill really comes into deciding when that moment is that you need to step in and show your dog, hey, we've checked here 3, 4, 5 times. You've given me nothing. I'm going to take you somewhere else and put you in an area where either the line of travel was going or ease of access, and hopefully get you back on the track. And what you see here, the dog has circled around a couple of times and was clever enough and smart enough to figure out, hey, there's nothing here, let me trek a little bit further on from that line of travel where we're going and get back on the track. And see, beautifully tracking on hard surface here, and that is really good behavior that you can set your watch to, because the dog's got a clear indication of when it is tracking and when it isn't tracking. And this is the superpower of having a dog that can locate and knows how to regain the track on its own. If you have a dog like this, it is the best thing when you come to tracking, because you go, okay, dog, I trust you to get me back on that track. I'm just going to give you your head and what you need from me as a handler to figure that problem out. You can see here, the dog hits that road crossing. All the indications are right that we are tracking, nose down, active sniffing, powering along, and this dog has a very distinctive tracking gait, which is what I describe as a type of pace that a dog will have when it is on track versus when it isn't. And we go down into the dark bushy area and we find our track layout not too far into the future. I chuck my torch on and we look at that tail going, and he's found something, and oh, there you go. So great work all around, congratulations. There's no other way we would have found that track layer had it not been for the dog. So this is the superpower that tracking dogs do possess, that they can do something that we as humans cannot. Great work.
Oh.
He got a bit confused for a while, but he got it.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.